day 5 of our SD-WAN Cisco SD-WAN batch. So today we will be configuring our lab from scratch. So this is our lab that we are going to configure from scratch. So in today's lecture, what we are going to cover, so configuring the Linux system first. So this is our Linux system. We'll be configuring this Linux system first. After we are done with this, proceed with the configuration of the internet router, MPLS router, the PE router, and the site routers. Once this configuration is completed, we will start the configurations of the controllers, vManage, vBond, and the vSmart. Once that is completed, we will configure the hub router and the branch routers. After which we will also need to provide internet connectivity. So for this lab, for this instance, we will have to do some configuration, after which we will also be able to reach the internet. So these devices, all of these devices, the controllers, the Linux systems, will be able to reach the internet from this internet router. So there is certain configuration that is required to be done. So we will be doing that configuration as well in our today's session. So we will configure internet and MPLS and PE router. We will then do the configuration of configure internet access for the Eve NG. Then we will configure site routers. Then we will configure the vManage, vBond, and the vSmart and the edge routers. So this is our scope for today's session. So let's begin with the configuration. I have already turned on all the devices in the lab. So let's begin the configuration. So as soon as I click on the Linux, I will get this prompt. I will click on the keep and then I will open it. So as soon as we try to open this Linux system, it will ask for username and password. So the username and password for the username for this instance is Eve, EVE, and the password is also same, Eve. So the username and password for this Linux system is Eve. This is the Linux system. Let me go ahead and open the terminal prompt. So the end goal with this Linux machine is to configure the IP address in this range 10.1.1.1.x range, so that we will be able to access the vManager from this Linux system. So this is the end goal. So let me see what is the current IP address as of now. We will be configuring it on ENS3. So as of now, there is no configuration present. So we'll go ahead and do the configuration. I will click on the arrow, which is on the top right. Then I will click on ENS3. Then I will go to wired settings. Now I have to manually configure the IP address on this ENS3. So I will click on the settings icon, IPv4 manual. Now I will give the IP address as 10.110.1.11. I will give it as 100 because 11 is being used by the vbond. Net mask will be 255.255.255.0, which is slash 24. And the gateway will be 10.110.1.1. And the DNS will be 8.8.8.8. Okay, this is the configuration that is required, and we will be configuring this IP address 10.110.1.1 on our PE router, and PE router will act as a gateway for all these controllers in the Linux machine to reach to the branches or to the internet. So once we are done with this, we will save the configuration. We'll ask for the password. We will give the password as EVE and click on authenticate. Now I see in this section, I see that ENS3 is connected. Also, I can see that it has taken the IP address that we have configured 10.110.1.100/24. Ten one one zero one dot 100. Okay, so this is all we need to do in this Linux machine. So next we will proceed with the configuration of this internet router, MPLS router, and the PE router. Let me turn on this. So we will create a configuration on the notepad and then we will paste it. Okay. So on the internet end, we see that it is connecting to multiple branches, to the Dubai branch as well, to London branch as well, to the HO, the hub site as well, and to the cloud as well. So what we will be doing is we will be configuring this end. We will have all the IP address ending with .254, and on the other end we will have .1 .1. Okay. So for example, my interface FA0/1 from the internet router is connecting to DR London. So on the internet end, I will be configuring the IP address as 10 10.70.1.254, and the other end, in the BR London end, I will be configuring it as 10.70.1.1. Similarly, on this end, I will configure it as 1061.1, and on the interface, on this interface, I will configure it as 1061.254. Same with the MPLS as well. On GE0/0, I will configure 60.1.1.1, and on this interface, I will configure at 60.1.1.254. Over here, I will configure it as 70.1.1.254, and so on. So let's begin with the configuration. So first, I will do it. I will create a configuration on the notepad. Conf. I will give the host name as internet interface fast ethernet 0/0. My 0/0 is connecting towards Delhi. Okay, and it will have IP address as 10.100.1.254. Interface fast ethernet 0/0, no shut, IP address 10.100.1.254, subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Exit.
Hey Ayan,
Hi, Muskan.
एक्चुअली आपके बैकग्राउंड से ना नॉइस बहुत ज़्यादा आ रही है लाइक कुछ हवा चलने की या फिर क्या नॉइस है आई डोंट नो लेकिन वो बहुत ज़्यादा आ रही है जो आपकी आवाज़ को कवर कर रही है.
Okay, allow me one moment.
ओके.
मुस्कान, अब ठीक है?
नाउ ओके.
Okay. So first Ethernet 0/0 configuration is ready. We will proceed with fast Ethernet 0/1. My fast Ethernet 0/1 is connecting towards BR Dubai. 0/1, and the IP address will be 10.60.1.254 with subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Going ahead, we will configure fast Ethernet 1/0. Okay, I guess my notepad is on. No worries. Okay. Interface fast Ethernet 1/0, IP address 10.70.1.254, subnet mask 255.255.255.0, no shut. Exit. Next, we'll configure interface fast Ethernet 1/1. Interface fast Ethernet 1/1, IP address 10.111.1.254, no shut, exit. Fast Ethernet 1/2 is connecting towards the internet cloud. So we will give here the IP address as Interface fast Ethernet 1/2 will give the description as well for towards GCP, and the IP address for this, and the IP address for this will be 192.168.1.16, 255.255.255.0. And on the other end, on this internet cloud, we will configure as .1. So we have did the configuration for 0/0, 0/1, 1/0, 1/1, 1/2, and we are left with 1/3, which is connecting towards our hub router. So at my hub router, I will give the IP address as 10.50.1.254. 10.1.1.254. The IP addressing part is completed. So we will want our all the we'll want the we will also create a default route towards this internet cloud, and on this internet cloud we will be having IP address as 192.168.1.1. Apart from that, we have this range 10.1101.0/24, wherein we have all our controllers. So we want this traffic to get the next hop of 10.111.1.1. So we will create a static route as well as the default route. So let's create the default route first. IP route 0.0.0.0, 0.0.0.0 with next hop 192.168.1.1. And for our controller, IP route 10.110.1.0 with subnet mask 255.255.255.0, and the next hop will be 10.111.1.1. And this 111 we will be configuring it on the PE router. Apart from this, we also want we will be doing net, because all these interface should be reachable on the internet. So this will all this interface FA 0/0, 0/1, 1/0, 1/1, and 1/3 will we will configure as IPNet inside on these interface, and then on FA 1/2 we will configure it as net outside. So let's do that. Interface range FA 0/0 to 0/1, and apart from that 1/0, FA 1/0, FA 1/, okay, 1/0 and 1/1, FN1 and FA 1/3. IP net inside exit interface FA 1/2, IP net outside exit. Apart from that, we will also create an access list 10 permit any IP net inside source list 10 interface FA 1/2 overload. So this is nothing but we are telling all these interfaces to get the IP address of the FA 1/2 to exit and to get into the internet. So IPNet inside source list 10 interface FA1/2 overload. Okay. Apart from this, we will also create a username admin with privilege 15 and password as admin. Line verify 0 to 14, login local transport input all. So this is the configuration that is required to be done on the internet router. So let's go ahead and paste this configuration. Close this windows. Enable. Show IP interface brief. Okay, so we can see that the IP addresses has been configured now. Let's verify if we have any other configuration. Show run pipe include IP route. Okay, so let me wipe this out first. So when we export the configuration is already present. So I've removed the configuration now. We will verify it and then we will proceed with the configuration. Same we will do with PE router. Okay. So config none. All right. Looks like we have Show IP interface brief. Okay, so there is no configuration. So we have removed the configuration. Let's begin with the configuration now. Okay, host name. All right. We will do the interface configuration. Show IP interface brief. We have the configuration on 0/0 and 0/1. Okay. No switch port. Show IP interface brief. All right. So we have the configuration IP address configured on the interfaces. Let's see if we have any routing configured. IP route. So no routing, no IP routes have been configured. Let's go ahead and do that. Conf t do show run pipe include IP route. Okay. Now we have the configurations. Interface range. Fast Ethernet 0/0-1. Okay. Okay. Let's do it one by one. IP net inside. Interface range fast Ethernet 1/0 till 1. IP net inside. Interface fast Ethernet /3. IP net inside. Let's verify it. Show run interface fast Ethernet 0/0. We have the IPNet inside command. On 1 as well, we have it. 1/0. We have it here as well. 1/1. Okay, we have it on 1/1 and 1/3 as well. We should not have it on 1/2. Okay, so this is the configuration that was required. Okay, fast Ethernet 1/2. We need to do IPNet outside. And then let's Right. So if we do show run, we should be able to see the configurations that we have did. The IP address configurations, IP routes, netting, access lists. Okay. So this is all that we wanted to do from the internet router perspective. Let's proceed with MPLS router configuration. So host name MPLS, fast Ethernet 0/0 will have 100.1.1, 100.1.1 slash 254. Fast Ethernet 0/1 will be 60.1.1. 60.1.1 slash 254. Fast Ethernet 1/0 will be 70.1.1 slash 254. Okay. Fast Ethernet 1/1 will be 1101.1. One dot one slash 24. Okay. 1/2 is not connected anywhere, so we will remove it. Fast Ethernet 1/3 is connecting to hub 50.1.1.1 slash 254. Okay. And in this case, we have OSPF between MPLS and the other routers. So we will do the OSPF configuration instead of this IP route. And this netting is also not needed. So we will remove the netting configuration and this IP route as well. Okay, so for OSPF, we will do router OSPF 10 network 0.0.0.0 0.0.0.0. Okay, it will be wildcard mask 255.255.255.0, and we will put this entire network in area 0. Exit. Let's verify the configuration. We will give the host name, do the interface configurations. After the interface configuration is done, we will do the OSPF configuration and then username and line VTY 0. Okay. Let's see if we have any configuration. Looks like okay, look like the configuration is already present. Let's wipe it out. Show IP interface brief. All right, so we do not have any configurations. Let's do the configuration. One slash one router OSPF 100. Show IP. We have the IP address configuration present now. Show run pipe section OSPF. Let's verify the OSPF configuration. Okay, we have OSPF configuration as well. Show run pipe include username. Okay, we have user created as well. Okay, and line VTY has local login and all as their transport input. Let's save it. Okay, so we are done with the MPLS configuration as well. Let's proceed with PE router configuration. So we have configuration here as well. Let's wipe it out. Okay, so let's create the configuration for PE router. Conf t hostname PE router first Ethernet 0/0 for PE router is not in use, so we will remove it. We have 0/1 which is connecting to the controllers, so this will have the IP address as 10.110.1.1, 10.110.1.1. We have our interface fast Ethernet 1/0 connecting towards MPLS. So we will have the IP addresses 110.1.1, 1/0, 110.1.1.1. 1/1 is connecting towards internet. So 10.111.1.1 with /24. We do not have fast Ethernet 1/3, so we will remove it. and we will create a default route towards this internet router. Also, we will create OSPF configuration between this router and this MPLS. So let's do it. IP route 0.0.0.0.0 with next hop 10.111.254. 10.111.1.254 is configured on fast Ethernet 1/1 of our internet router. Okay. Apart from that, I want OSPF configurations for this entire network so that these routers can reach via OSPF till the controllers and with the static route from year to year. So let's do the OSPF configuration as well. Router OSPF. We will be keeping it in area 0 itself. Network 110.1.1.0 with subnet mask /25, and we will have our wildcard mask over here. Similarly, for 10 dot network 10.110.1.0 with /24 and area 0, and the rest of the configuration username and line VTY will be same. So let's do this configuration as well. Enable show run pipe include IP route. Show run pipe section OSPF. You can see the OSPF adjacency is forming here. Let's verify if we have the configurations. Okay. OSPF configuration. All right. Let's create the local username and line VTY configuration. Save. Show run pipe include username. Okay, show run pipe section OSPF. Okay, we have OSPF configuration as well. All right, so the configuration for PE router is also completed. Next, we will begin with the site router configuration. This internet access, we will take it in the end of the session. So let's do the configuration for site Dubai 1 and site Dubai 2. We'll have to wipe it first. Wipe this as well. Start. So in this case, we will configure dot 100. 172.16.60.100 will be configured on this interface, and on this interface we will configure it as 172.16.60.1. Similarly, on this interface we will configure 192.168.60.1, and on the other end we will configure it as dot 100 on this interface. Apart from this, we will configure these IP address on loopback interfaces. Similarly, this IP addresses we will all configure on loopback. So loopback 11, 12, and 13. We will configure these IP addresses. And apart from that, we will also be having OSPF configuration in this area and in this area as well. So we will do that configuration now. Okay, so save. So first you'll have to go to edit and set the startup configuration as none, because if we keep as exported, so whatever configuration that was done while the file was extracted, it will take that configuration. So make sure before turning it on, set the startup configuration to none, save it, and then wipe it and then turn it on. Okay, so show IP interface brief. Okay, we do not have any configuration. Show run pipe section OSPF. Okay, we do not have OSPF configuration as well. We have no username created. So let's do the configuration. Host name will be site Dubai 01. I have my interface fast Ethernet 0/0 connecting towards the BR Dubai router, and I will have the IP address as 172.16.60.100. 172.16.60.100, and the interface is fast Ethernet 0/0. No shut. Okay, and I will have loopback configuration as loopback 11. I will remove this, remove this. And my loopback configuration will be having 172.16.60.1.100, loopback 12 will have 172.16.62.100, and loopback 13 will have 172.16.63.100. Apart from that, it will also have OSPF configuration. So router OSPF 10, and the network will be 0.0.0.0 area 0. Area 0. Apart from that, we will have username and line VTY configuration. That's it. Let's create the configuration for site Dubai 2 as well. Site Dubai 2. Fast Ethernet 0/0 is connected. Will have IP 192.168.60.100. 192.168.60.100. Similarly, loopback 11 will have 192.168.61.100. 61.100, 62.100, 63.100, and OSPF configuration will be as it is. Let's go ahead and do the configuration. I have my site Dubai router here. Okay, let's verify the configuration. Show IP interface brief. Looks like we have missed. Okay. So loopback 13 did not take place because we had the IP address configuration. Conf T. So earlier what we did is we we called loopback 12 with this IP, and then here also loopback 12 was configured. So it took this IP. So now we should have the expected configuration. Do show IP interface brief. Okay, we have fast Ethernet 0 with this IP and then 3 loopback interfaces. See right, show run pipe section OSPF. We have OSPF configuration. Let's see if we have the user configured. Yes, show run pipe section line. Okay, login local, and we have the configuration. Save it. Let's proceed with site Dubai 2. Pipe start. Okay. Click on no. Enable. Let's see if we have any configurations. No, okay. So let's do site Dubai 2 configuration as well. Conf T. So okay, we have the IP address configured with 3 loopback interfaces. We have OSPF configured. We have username configured. Okay, we have login local. Yes. Save it, close it, and proceed with site London configuration. Click on no. Show IP interface brief. Let's create the configuration for London site 1. So for London site 1, we will have fast Ethernet 0/0 with IP address 172.16.70.100, and loopback 11 will have 172.16.71.100. Similarly, loopback 12 and 13 will have 72 and 73.100. Let's edit the configuration that we had for Dubai router. 70.100, 71.100, 72.100, 73.100, and the rest entire configuration will be the same.